Drawing techniques. First up, we have value. Value is the lightness or darkness of color. If you press very lightly on your paper, you'll get a light value. If you push a little bit harder, you'll get darker and darker values. This adds interest to your artwork and is really great if you don't have many colors available. Layering. Layering is an awesome technique where you just lay down one color, pick a new color, and then add a layer over the top of it. You can do it going in the same direction, or you can put a layer of color down, take the second color, and go in the opposite direction. And basically here the possibilities are endless. You can unlock tons of new colors, just like in this artwork here, and add lots of interest. Contrast is when you put two different elements next to each other. So if you do a very light value and then you add a very dark value next to it, those are two very different things and they create contrast in your artwork. This can make your art look very polished and very finished. Variety is when you use lots of different elements, maybe like different colors next to each other, and this can add a lot of fun to your art. We can see both contrast and variety in Kandinsky's artwork here. Texture. Texture is when you add a value of color onto your paper and then you go over the top with a contrasting color and you add some lines and create some patterns. And this technique is really great if you're trying to show anything that really has texture. Maybe animal fur, hair, snake skin, or feathers, tree bark, anything like that. If you repeat those lines and create that pattern, you can make it look like your artwork has that real texture. That's called implied texture. It's really fun technique. And you can see it here in Frida Kahlo's artwork, in her hair and in the animal's fur. Blending. Blending is a great technique where you start with a layer of color and then you go on top of that color just a little bit and you add another layer of that color and then you just kind of keep changing those colors but starting on top of the color before, and then you blend those colors together. You can do this with any colors and it's a really fun technique. It's really great to use for areas in your artwork like sky, any large areas like that, maybe water, kind of like in this artwork here. You can see the artist blended those colors together. Hatching. Hatching is a very simple technique where you just place several straight or diagonal lines next to each other. They can be close or far apart, just like that. And then cross hatching is where you do the same thing, but you go back over the top and place straight diagonal lines in the opposite direction. And this is a technique that you might use if you are trying to show shadows or you are trying to create value and depth in your artwork. Pointillism and stippling. This technique is where you add several small dots or marks next to each other in your artwork. And this adds interest to your artwork, kind of creates a little bit of texture. But this is really great for large areas in your artwork, maybe grass or sky or sand. You could even try layering different colors together. But again, pointillism, stippling, a bunch of small dots or marks next to each other on your paper and you fill that space. Oh, you could even add a light value over the top or underneath of this technique to sort of make those marks really stand out. As you can see in this Van Gogh right here, look at all those small marks. My final technique to share with you is the textured rubbing plates. These are really fun. You just place it onto your paper and you hold it still and you take your medium, whatever you're using, and just rub it over the top of your paper, and you can see that that texture really pops out and shines on your paper. You can even try layering with this technique too. This just adds some emphasis to your artwork. It creates spots on your artwork where your eye wants to look. And it can also be used for really large areas in your artwork too, like maybe your sky or any water that you might have. This is a great technique for that. It's so fun to use these texture rubbing plates. Have fun exploring these techniques and see what you can invent on your own.